They say the records never lie, yet even the most meticulous scribes of the cosmos would struggle to capture the devastation that unfolded in the last stretch of the ancient star system. Renegade Immortal, chapter 1311-1312, begins with Tuo Sen's madness incarnate. One punch, a single stellar explosion, and 3 seasoned third-step cultivators scattered like leaves before a hurricane. Space itself groaned and cracked under the weight of his fury, while Wang Lin, distant yet attuned, felt the surge of an ancient god's wrath brushing against him. The hunters had finally been divided, but at what cost? Amid the ruins of shattered planets and collapsing stars, the threads of pursuit tighten once more, and as the ethereal woman in white glides across the remnants of devastation, bearing a promised rank 6 Dao spirit, the shadow of the next confrontation looms. How will Wang Lin face Tuo Sen's relentless onslaught, and what secrets linger in the moonlit star domain? The story moves forward, and the stars themselves seem to hold their breath. The heavens shivered. A single strike tore through the void like a hammer crashing upon a celestial drum. It was a blow so immense that it felt as though an entire cultivation planet had been hurled down from the skies. 3 third-step cultivators stood against it. One had reached the spirit void stage, while the other 2 had ascended to nirvana void. They had faced Tuo Sen countless times, yet even now they did not flinch. Each placed a hand upon their forehead, summoning the depths of their cultivation. From their bodies erupted a surge of energy, 3 streaks of demonic light, racing to intercept Tuo Sen's devastating punch. The world quaked. Thunder ripped through the heavens, and with every crackle, the very fabric of space itself seemed to splinter. Dimensional rifts formed, yawning wide across thousands of kilometers. A clash of third-step cultivators held the power to sunder entire star systems. Tuo Sen groaned, a sound laced with madness. His pursuers, relentless for 10 long years, had never parted, never given him the slightest opening. Yet now, driven by the singular desire to capture Wang Lin, a spark of insanity flickered in his eyes. "This god has felled countless third-step cultivators," he roared, voice carrying the weight of aeons. "You 3 have chased me for a decade. Do you truly believe I cannot crush you?" Between his brows, a star glimmered. With a burst of blinding brilliance, it launched itself skyward. Even from afar, Wang Lin, attuned to the world, could feel the raw, ancient god power pressing upon the cosmos. The star blazed like a shard of eternity, and Tuo Sen's roar tore through the void. "Explode!" In that instant, he shattered the star without hesitation. A storm of destruction erupted, sweeping across the surrounding void. Thunder rolled endlessly, space itself ripping asunder. Dimensional rifts spread over vast expanses, consuming planets, annihilating cultivators, and reducing creatures to ash. The ancient star system trembled under the cataclysm, the shockwave radiating outward with unrelenting force. The 3 cultivators poured every ounce of their power into defense. Treasures and spells flared in desperate brilliance, yet the shockwave still hurled them backward. The Spirit Void Elder formed seals with trembling hands, pale but alive, as the star's energy dissipated layer by layer. The other 2, man and woman, coughed blood as they retreated frantically. Finally, the chaos forced them apart. "They've separated." Tuo Sen's grin split his face. His enormity reverberated with thunder, and he closed the distance in an instant. Beside the Nirvana Void man, the remaining stars between his brows whirled into a deadly vortex. The Spirit Void Elder's eyes widened, and with a roar he hurled himself toward Master Simo, attempting to shield him from the encroaching storm. Ripples of warped space emanated like waves as he moved. Master Simo's voice was calm, yet strange and unfathomable. Words of the Tao spilled from his lips, weaving a mystic incantation. "Prisoner of the Tao of Heaven. All sentient beings endure immeasurable calamities, escape the will of heaven, obtain the path of life." His chant wove a barrier of purpose, yet Tuo Sen's gaze shifted, and with a single punch he bypassed the elder. He appeared beside the remaining cultivator, a woman battered by the shattered star. Her eyes shrank as she saw him, a spell trembling at her lips. The punch struck. Blood erupted. The vortex of stars wrapped around her, pulling her into the embrace of Tuo Sen's second star, sealing her fate in an instant. Space tore beneath his might, and Tuo Sen vanished, leaving only his ominous words echoing across the void. "This god still has a few stars unshattered. I will await the two of you." The Spirit Void Elder exchanged a glance with Master Simo, a strange mix of envy and awe dancing across his features. Without another word, they dissolved into rays of light, vanishing into the starry expanse. "Even the one Tuo Sen pursues exudes ancient god aura. A royal ancient god," one murmured. "The other is beyond our reach. But what is their goal, that they risk so much, even altering their plans midway?" Before their thoughts could settle, a figure appeared. Ethereal and silent, she wore flowing white robes that blurred at the edges, as though she belonged to a higher realm. Her steps left a river of stars beneath her feet, gliding effortlessly through the void. "Thank you." Her voice whispered like wind over glass, carrying divine resonance. With a graceful wave of her hand, 2 rays of white light shot into their palms. The promised rank 6 Dao spirit. She passed between them and vanished into the distance, leaving only a trail of celestial radiance. Wang Lin pressed onward, navigating by memory toward the Moon Clan. His expression darkened, thoughts stirring from the power fluctuation he had sensed. There was no time to linger. Using spatial bending, he arrived at a star domain bathed in moonlight, planets casting a silvery glow across the void, a scene so surreal it seemed dreamlike. "This is it," he murmured, eyes narrowing with steely resolve. A roar shattered the quiet behind him. Wang Lin did not glance back. Instead, he surged forward, extending his divine sense. The aura of ancient gods thickened ahead. A trap, he realized with a grim smile. The void tore open violently, and Tuo Sen emerged, exhausted yet burning with relentless fury. "You cannot escape!" Tuo Sen thundered, his eyes cold, his punch launched with the force of the heavens themselves. "I am not running!" Wang Lin's voice rang, echoing through the moonlit void. He beheld massive statues of ancient gods, each radiating tremendous aura. His body surged, growing into a colossal 10,000-foot form. 6 ancient god stars whirled around him, ancient power erupting like a storm. With a swing of his hand, a blood-red light solidified into a colossal sword, thousands of feet long, meeting Tuo Sen's strike head-on. He drew in the surrounding ancient god energy, channeling it into the wound on his chest. Thunder rolled, and the axe-shaped shadow within him emerged briefly before vanishing. Even without the heaven-splitting axe, his wound healed instantly, leaving no trace of injury. The stage was set, the heavens themselves trembling. 2 forces, ancient god power and martial mastery, clashed in the void. The tale of this confrontation would echo through eternity, a legend whispered wherever the path of cultivation led. Listen closely, for this is a tale of celestial fury and mortal defiance, a battle that shook the heavens themselves. In the boundless void of the star domain, 2 legendary powers collided, and the echoes of their wrath would reverberate across the ages. Tuo Sen's fist surged forward like a comet, tearing through the cosmos, a force born not of spells or ancient knowledge, but of pure, terrifying corporeal might. Though his mastery of godly incantations was incomplete, the raw power in his veins alone could shatter stars. And now, it hurtled toward Wang Lin's blood sword, which blazed with its own deadly essence. The instant Tuo Sen's fist met Wang Lin's sword energy, the void trembled. Thunderous reverberations rolled outward, carrying shockwaves that rippled through space itself. Simultaneously, Wang Lin unleashed the heaven-splitting axe aura from deep within his chest, hurling it toward the approaching strike. The aura surged with the weight of millennia, the kind of force that could rend the heavens apart. It collided with Tuo Sen's assault in a clash that rang like the bell of creation itself. Popping echoes filled the air. Tuo Sen, mighty as he was, could not match the deadly sharpness of the blood sword, which had once wounded the ancient celestial emperor and now remained unbreakable. Blood sprayed from Tuo Sen's arm as the heaven-splitting axe aura infiltrated his limb, tearing and thrashing with a violence that even his indomitable body could scarcely withstand. Anger contorted his face as the destructive energy forced him to stagger, halted mid-assault. The first true confrontation had begun. Tuo Sen was momentarily stopped, yet a fragment of his punch still surged forward, a storm of flesh and spirit aimed at Wang Lin's colossal form. Wang Lin's arm shot out, absorbing the impact. The force struck him like a cultivation planet crashing upon the land. He coughed blood, driven back into an ancient god statue, whose fragmented aura rushed to heal him. A grim smile crept across his face as he steadied himself, touching the statue behind him, before stepping into the void and forming a fist. From his left arm, 7 milky white orbs of light blossomed, 7 planet souls he had claimed in his journey here. The heavens seemed to hum with their power, and Wang Lin's roar split the void. Tuo Sen! His punch shot forth, carrying the 7 celestial spheres. They transformed into massive phantasms of cultivation planets, as if the cosmos itself obeyed his command, hurling down toward his foe. Tuo Sen's brow darkened. He had shattered 1 star in the sealed realm formation, and another in the recent battle, leaving only 6, yet he was not an ordinary 6-star being. He was Tuo Sen, an ancient god whose body teetered on the brink of 9-star majesty. His form radiated a power that could make the heavens quake. Even with stars shattered, his genius to harness third-step cultivators' essence within his stars kept his strength formidable. This was no opponent Wang Lin could simply oppose. Once you and I fuse, I will reclaim the pinnacle of my ancient god might. Tuo Sen's voice thundered across the void. You cannot resist. He lunged, a meteor of wrath, fists striking at the 7 cultivation planet phantoms. Each collision shook the world, threatening to tear the fabric of existence. The 7 planet souls quivered violently under his assault, and one detonated in a cataclysmic shockwave, scattering moonlight across the star domain into dust. Tuo Sen's fury escalated. 2 more planetary phantoms shattered beneath his onslaught. Integrate with me so the power of my ancient clan may rise again. Dare you refuse this godly inheritance? His roar resonated like a universe unraveling. The remaining 4 planets quaked and collapsed as he drew closer, meteoric and unstoppable. Wang Lin, though only a young 6-star god by comparison, would not yield. He formed a seal, pushing his left palm forward. All his origin energy and ancient god might condensed into a colossal palm print, drawing the surrounding force into a singularity of power. You are but a devil of Tuo Sen, yet dare call yourself god? He shouted, the palm print hurtling toward the unstoppable Tuo Sen. Tuo Sen roared, attempting to shred the attack, tearing the palm print in half as rumbles shook the star domain. Wang Lin pressed onward, placing his left hand against Tuo Sen's arm, drawing in the endless origin energy around him. Popping sounds signaled the strain as he was hurled back into another ancient god statue, healing with the influx of ancient power. Tuo Sen's massive form hesitated briefly, but the momentum of his assault carried him forward, inhaling the surrounding aura. Weak. So weak. Tuo Sen's voice was a whip of disdain. Nearly 2,000 years, and you remain pitiful. He crashed upon the ancient god statues, the ground trembling beneath the sheer weight of his being. His hand lifted, eclipsing the sky, aiming not for death but for capture. Wang Lin's eyes blazed. The 7th star vortex spun wildly as he absorbed nearly 40% of the incoming divine energy. Channeling it into his blood sword, he unleashed a singular strike. Ancient god spell, god punch. His roar tore through the void, forming a vortex with the blood sword at its heart. Wang Lin hurtled toward Tuo Sen's right fist, a shadow of an ancient god converging with his foe. The collision was apocalyptic. Thunder rolled across the heavens as God Punch unleashed the concentrated might of an ancient god, forcing Tuo Sen's fist back and drawing blood from Wang Lin. Yet even as Wang Lin struck, Tuo Sen unleashed the 6 stars between his brows, intent on consuming him like a third-step cultivator. In this crucial moment, Wang Lin's eyes flickered with a strange light, the calm before a storm. Tuo Sen, do you think Tuo Sen truly died? He challenged. What? Even one as indomitable as Tuo Sen faltered, a ripple of uncertainty across his colossal visage. And in that heartbeat, the tide of legend began to shift, the heavens holding their breath for the next clash in this saga of gods and devils.